Explosion!
I never wanted to do this. I want that to be clear from the start, because people like to pretend that criticism comes from hate, or from bitterness, or from some imaginary place where fans are just angry that things changed. That is not what this is. This is not hate. This is disappointment. This is exhaustion. This is watching something you loved slowly turn into something hollow and being told to smile while it happens. The Patrick Star Show is exactly what I feared it would be the moment it was announced. And no, before anyone rushes to correct me, I know about the Steven Hillenburg controversy. I know it was debunked. I know the corporate-approved explanation. That does not change the reality of what this show represents. It represents a mindset. A willingness to stretch a name until it snaps because the name alone still prints money. So let's get this out of the way. What is this show? It is 11 minutes of Patrick Star being a caricature of himself. Not a character. A noise generator, a collection of exaggerated reactions stitched together with no sense of pacing, no sense of restraint, and no sense of purpose. There is no story. There is no structure. There is no reason for anything to happen other than we can do it. And that is the problem. Random does not equal funny. Loud does not equal clever. Breaking rules does not automatically make something creative. When you say there are no rules, what you are really saying is we didn't bother to make any. Boundaries are not limitations, they are what make comedy work. Without them, nothing has weight. Nothing matters. Nothing lands. Patrick can do anything. Reality bends around him. Consequences do not exist. So why should the audience care? Why should anything feel earned? If everything is possible at all times, then nothing is special. It becomes noise. Endless, exhausting noise. Modern Patrick Star is already a diluted version of what he once was. In the original series, Patrick was dumb, yes, but he was also sincere, occasionally insightful, and sometimes even the emotional anchor of an episode. Here, he has one trait. 1. Being obnoxiously stupid. That is not a character. That is a setting. And the rest of the cast suffers for it. Patrick's family makes no sense. Not even cartoon logic sense. We met his parents. We met his sister. Continuity mattered once, even when the show bent it for a joke. Here, continuity is not bent, it is ignored. Squidna exists because the show needed another loud personality. The rest of the family are interchangeable starfish clones with the same voice, the same expressions, the same timing, the same everything. They are not characters. They are Patrick copies filling space. And then there's the spin-off problem. Why is this even a spin-off? If SpongeBob, Squidward, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, Plankton, Pearl, Gary, Man Ray, and half of Bikini Bottom are showing up constantly, then what is the point? A spin-off is supposed to explore something new. A different angle. A different world. This isn't that. This is the same sandbox with the same toys, just shaken harder and faster until it becomes unbearable. It lacks identity. It lacks confidence. It relies entirely on recognition. And the animation. The animation is relentless. Every frame screams for attention. Extreme close-ups. Overstretched mouths. Bulging eyes. Faces contorting into shapes that are meant to be shocking instead of expressive. There is no downtime. No visual breathing room. No moment where the show trusts the audience enough to let a scene exist without screaming at them. Exaggeration is a tool. Here, it is a crutch. And when everything is exaggerated, nothing stands out. It becomes visual white noise. A barrage of motion designed to keep eyes glued to the screen, not because it's engaging, but because it's overwhelming. This isn't animation driven by comedy. It's animation driven by algorithms and attention spans. The voice acting doesn't save it. Bill Fagerbakke is doing what he can, but even Patrick's voice feels strained by the material. Other characters sound recycled, grating, or flat out annoying. There is no charm here. No experimentation. No creativity. Just loud voices filling loud scenes. And don't hide behind the show within a show excuse. If this is meant to be a show inside a show, then it fails because it is presented as canon adjacent. If it is meant to be a prequel, it fails because it contradicts established continuity. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot excuse sloppy writing by pretending it's clever meta-commentary after the fact. This does not feel like a passion project. It feels like content. Content made for money. You all are horrible. Content designed to exist, to be consumed, to be marketed, to be defended by brand loyalty rather than merit. Content that exists because it can, not because it should. This show feels like a slap in the face to SpongeBob fans who grew up with characters that had heart, timing, and intelligence beneath the absurdity. It sends a message that quality no longer matters as long as the logo is recognizable. And the worst part? It works. People watch it. Kids grow up with it. The bar lowers quietly. Standards erode slowly. And anyone who speaks up is told they're overreacting, or nostalgic, or incapable of accepting change. This isn't change. This is decay. This is what happens when art is treated as a resource to be mined instead of something to be protected. When creators are replaced by committees. When risk is replaced by repetition. When the question stops being "is this good?" and starts being "will this sell?" You can do better. You choose not to. Because it's easier this way. Because this is cheaper. Because nobody in the room has to care as long as the numbers look right. And that's the truth you don't want aired. That's why this message exists. Because someone had to say it. Because pretending everything is fine doesn't make it true. Because art deserves more than this. Because fans deserve more than this. Because if no one speaks up, this becomes the standard. And then there is nothing left to mourn except what used to be. Art is not dead because it failed. Art is dying because it is being ignored. Art is dying because no one is listening. Art is dying because this is good enough. And this is only your fault, and in one day, your company will fall, and then it will be only ashes.